WhatsApp nila, binigay natin. One and for all, sabi ko, let's talk as Filipinos.
Okay. May fight lang kami doon eh. Yung budol fight lang. Ang nangyari. We celebrated together, di ba? Over the table.
Kaya po nagkaroon ng budol fight sa isang napakagandang hotel.
Susundin daw ng mga Norwegians yung budol fight.
Oh yeah, they like it very much. And then we offer them fish. Yung fish, yung salmon fish.
Sige, questions. Okay, go ahead. Yes, sir. Age mo na. Better than, okay.
Sir, bakit doon ginawa sa Oslo na madaling naman pala kayo magkasundo? Di ba tumasok siya ng Pilipinas ng pera?
Alam mo, ang Oslo kasi yung ating facilitator. At napakahalaga yung facilitation ng Oslo, Norway. And they had been there. You know, over the time that there was even a breakdown for almost 5 years, the Oslo government kept faith in the process. They were very patient. And of course, as facilitator, they also had to provide support to the process. Alam mo kasi meron akong experience noon eh. I was already in the old negotiating team with the CPP and PNDF. Pumupunta kami doon sa Amsterdam during the time of former President Ramos pa. I was congressman at the time. I was the representative of the House to the panel at the time. E noon pag may breakdown on the talks, hindi makaintindihan, we just walk out of the table and pack up and go home. Malaking bagay, may facilitator ka na pagsabi, teka muna, bakit? Pag-usapan muna natin, ano ba? Ano bang breakdown? So, wag natin yung simplihin. Pagka ang question mo kasi parang sinasabi mo sayang ang gastos ng gobyerno. Although ang Norway naman ang sumalo ng karamihan ng gastos, ano? Doon. With all the consultants of the CPP and PNDF and their whole delegation.
And it's the home of the Nobel Prize, Mr. Nobel.
Yes.
Doon binibigay yung Nobel Prize.
Pero with that, I also parang commiserate with that statement. Kasi even when I was in the negotiations with the MILF, bakit kayo sa Malaysia parate? Bakit hindi sa Pilipinas? Away ng Pilipino ito eh. So we started with that, and you will notice now, there's going to be some meetings that will be held here already in the Philippines. Yung Joint Monitoring Committee natin, ang CARIL, will already start meeting here at the Norwegian Embassy in Taguig. Yun ang understanding ko. I will talk about the MILF, because as we speak now, for the first time in Davao now, happening until tomorrow, may strategic meeting ang dalawang panig, MILF at government natin. Kaya maraming pagbabago ngayon, but I really understand why you only express yung mga sinasabi ng karamihan, no? Bakit sa labas? May value din yan, but now that there is an opportunity, we're able to meet here locally already.
And of course, Secretary, just 3 days ago, yung sa Colombia naman, after, mas matagal sa atin, 1962 pa. Dito, Labanan, 64, almost 5 decades. Pero they just signed in Havana naman, of course, sa tulong din ng ang Royal Norwegian government, no? Nag-sign sila ng permanent peace. And that happened only 3 days ago, 3 or 4 days ago. Ang ibig po sabihin, napaka-neutral talaga ng Norway kasi yan binibigay yung yearly Nobel Prize winner, no, doon sa lugar nila. So neutral yon at parang gusto nila talagang tumutulong yon at everybody feels safe there. Pero yung pagbubuo ng clustering ngayon, pag-uusap sa CASER, pag-uusap sa Amnesty, sa ceasefire, dito ginagawa yan, yung RWG group. Pagkatapos ng RWG, after 60 days, babalik yan doon sa RW committee naman. Yun ang pinakamahalaga sa lahat. Kung ano na pag-usapan sa baba, sa groupings, a-approve naman ngayon. At hindi sila magdadalawang isip kung doon muna, lalo na yung mga kapatid sa kaliwa, mag-usap tayo dito ayusin muna natin. So habang inaayos natin yung ceasefire at yung JASIG na talagang hindi ka pwedeng huliin, palagi ko talagang dito na tayo magtatapos. At ito nagmamadali sila. Joma, I heard, would like to have it finished in 6 months, pero ang government, sabi natin, mga 8 months pwede ba? Everybody seems to be in a hurry to have signed a permanent peace covenant.
Okay. Next. Yes, sir.
Given that their atmosphere, do we project when we can possibly sign the final peace agreement, given the rate of processes that we're going?
Well, you know, in peace negotiations kasi, and tumanda na kami dyan ni Mayor Ed, di ba? It has to be one step at a time. As much as possible. You know very well that masyadong malalim din at matindi yung mga basic advocacy ng CPP, NP, NDF. Kaya wag din nating parang feel natin na go-go na ito. There's going to be a lot of work to be done. So let's also manage our expectations. No? While we have timelines, as much as we can meet these timelines, but remember that these are very basic issues that go to the very core of our people and our governance and our principles. And yung mga reforma na yan, they are reforms that will have to be taken into account. Although yung mga reforma din yan, nakikita naman natin na kailangan din yan. Di ba? So, back to your question, while we'd like to see an early end, please manage also expectations that I always had referred to this line that the roadmap is not always rosy. There are humps and bumps along the way. So, but best efforts, but the atmosphere now is much conducive to an early settlement. I could tell it across the table. Ceasefire.
How much of it, kasi siyempre sabi niyo yung draft pa for the next 2 months or next
2 months, 60 days.
How much of it will be similar to what we have now with the ML? Is it something that the public is associated,
Familiar with already? Well, we have a template as far as government is concerned, but you know, you're dealing also with CPP and PNDF. Baka meron doon silang ibang pamamaraan, and we'll have to also mutually agree on this. So wag natin ding i-foreclose na meron din silang baka may ibang pamamaraan din sila just to see to it that we maintain the ceasefire and that it will hold. Yan, may microphone pala para marinig din. O yung lady mo na, yung kanina pa yan Now we go to from age to beauty already. Okay, go ahead.
Sir, sabi niyo po kanina, yung ceasefire, ito yung isa sa major na development, na major outcome nitong peace negotiations, sir. Pero within 60 days na ayusin niyo po yung mechanisms, ano po yung i-expect natin? Like, magkakaroon na po ba ng tigil putukan or may i-expect pa rin tayo na from time to time na encounter?
Thank you. Ang pinakamahalaga dito sa nangyari in the last meeting in Oslo was actually the formal resumption of negotiations that had stopped over half of a decade ago. In 2011 pa yung negotiations. So yung pinaka-significant. Yung ceasefire is also an important part of that. Unilateral kasi ito. Nag-coincide lang yung both sides agreed na indefinite muna. Tigil putukan muna. Because the idea really is to provide an enabling environment for the peace negotiations. That's the whole point there. But will there be some incidents? We cannot totally discount incidents on the ground. But the idea is that the leadership of both sides are committed to maintain a ceasefire. Kaya nga mahalaga na merong mechanisms para you will have ways on how to prevent. Kung magkabakbakan man, who will intervene, and ano yung proseso to find out bakit nangyari yung bakbakan and may ceasefire. This will have still to be done by the mechanisms that will be put in place. Agree ako that yung MILF ceasefire mechanisms natin could be a template, but we will concede also to the new things that the CPP, NPA, and the FP proposed to us to really make it work. Yes, ma'am. Haba pa.
Ensure na, sabi niyo po ngayon, it's jovial, friendly yung atmosphere. How do you plan to keep it that way? Because as the talks progress, baka magkaroon ng may mga issues na medyo magiging sensitive.
Marami talaga pa. Ano kaya nga sabi ko, don't think that this is already a walk in the park, no? There will be a lot of issues, sensitive issues. There will be challenges along the way. We have made some breakthroughs. But if there is a commitment on both sides really, no, to work out things, then there is nothing that can stop a final settlement. At nakita namin on both sides, sila rin, at sa amin din, na talagang we are determined already to see this through. At sinasabi din namin na kung pwede, madalian natin ito dahil we have a President Duterte who can make things happen dahil alam mo ninyo, pag final peace agreement, don't think it's already end and everybody rejoice. No. The most difficult part is the implementation of peace agreements. And we learned that from the previously signed agreements with the MNLF, Chairman Nurmiswari. We signed it in 1996, but up to now we still have issues working on them. As a matter of fact, I'll mention that the later part, no, on our meetings now scheduled in Davao. That's why I'm going to go there immediately from here. Yung implementation of signed agreements, that particular phase is also probably as difficult as the negotiation stage. You know why? Because the expectations of the people on the ground are heightened. Uy, nagkapirmahan na. So akala nila magic na lahat. No, sir. It's a work also, one step at a time, building trust. Alam mo kasi, sa publiko natin, yung mga rebelde, kasi kalaban yan eh. Mas pa nagkapirmahan ka mo, hindi mo wala yung feeling nila na kalaban yan. Yun ang nagpapahirap sa atin. So you'll have really to get the public to buy in into the process, into the gains that we have in the negotiations table. Kaya napakahalaga. And that's why media is very important. You know why? Because media will be there to communicate. At paminsan may intriga, may mga maganda kasi yung headline na blaring eh. Ha? Pero paminsan kasi it creates more problems to us. Kaya that's why we're very careful in answering questions. Paminsan kasi ang peace process coverage kasi is entirely different from yung mga crime coverages. Ito may sensitivity na maling word na ginamit mo lang, it can create conflict already. And something that we have to nurture very well. That's why I'm glad media is always with us. At tinatanong yung mga question na tinatanong nyo para talagang makikita nyo yung meat, hindi lang diretso na may lead paragraph agad na maganda. Pero paminsan, hindi masyado consistent with what is actually happening. So, thank you for that. Kaya nga sabi ko, the road to peace is, they have their bumps and humps along the way. Pero nakikita mo naman, maski may mga alitan, pero pagdating naman dito sa negotiations, these were not mentioned at all across the table. Kaya there are different levels naman, and I'm sure President Duterte and the leaders of the CPP and PDF will be able to handle this.
And there was not even one walkout. There was no collapse, and unlike in the past, wala pa kaming 2 araw walk out na.
Oh, noon.
Tapos let's have a break. Ang break namin 5 minutes na, maabot na 3 oras. And then it's only after discussing this sa labas, doon na lang, not even one nag-back out. Not even once.
Bakit kaya? there is a lot of,
Preliminary pa rin.
there's a lot of goodwill on both sides. And sabi ko nga kami tumanda na dito, pareho lang yung ginagawa namin dito, pero bakit ganito? We credit it only, pardon me for saying the obvious, but we credit it to a presidency of Rodrigo Duterte. Yun lang. Yes, administrations. Dami-dami na rin kami. Duterte nga Ang ginagawa ko, marami din kaming natutunan dati. Huwag na nating isa-isahin. We learned, in a peace process kasi, hindi naman yung lahat na nangyari noon, baliwala yun In a peace process, which takes time, every agreement is a foundation. It is a brick on a building that one must build from. You don't demolish these foundations Kaya mga previous, like sinabi niya, nag-breakdown nga doon sa previous administrations, wala nangyari. But we learned lessons from those, and there were also a lot of building blocks that were put in place from which we are building on right now.
And this is one of the principles na pinangako niya during the campaign. Sabi niya, we will have to have an honest to goodness peace negotiation. At naniniwala naman ang lahat ng mamamayan, pati yung mga kapatid natin sa kaliwa. Yung pag-upong-pag-upo, parang pakapagal.
Okay, yes ma'am.
Secretary, yes. You mentioned po na one of the most substantive aspect of that is the socio-economic reform. So can you specify, sir, what are the significant and important aspects na kailangan nating maglaan ng 6 months in order to really come up with a building block and foundation of that particular aspect?
Alam mo, ang basic breakaway principle ng mga rebelde, mostly on problems that affect social and economic matters. Kaya, mahirap aayusin pa yan, malalim din yung kanilang posisyon, malalim din yung atin.
Organization is one. Genuine land reform is another one.
Pag-usapan pa yan, kaya nga, hindi yun madali. We concede on both sides na yun ang pinaka-challenging part of the work. Kaya naglaan kami ng 6 months to work on this. Huwag na natin pag-usapan ng detalye because inunahan na natin di ba? Huwag muna. Let's let our negotiators work on that.
Sir?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. But what about the previous statements po sa NDA po na yung minsan yung mga military hindi po nakakapag-pull out agad from civilian communities na it might undermine any declaration of ceasefire?
Pag-usapan pa yan. It's something that we have kasi some operational guidelines issued by the AFP and the PNP to undertake the unilateral ceasefire. So, yung mga matters about the specifics, kaya pag-usapan pa yan across the table on both sides. Yes, sir. Atong lady mo na?
Based on inquiry.
Yes, thank you.
Sir, na-mention na po ba or napag-usapan na po yung pag-surrender ng firearms ng NPA? Whether the answer is yes or no, ano po yung reaction niyo po sa nagsasabi na hindi magsusurrender ng firearms ng NPA and ginagamit lang po ang peace talks for tactical gains?
Well, sinabi ka namin, ang last issue in the Reciprocal Working Committee group work is the so-called topic on disposition of forces and end of hostilities. Saka pa pag-usapan yan.
Pero sir, ano po yung comment?
Bakit pero? Ano yun?
And ano po yung comment nyo sa mga nagsasabi na for tactical gains lang po yung peace talks?
Huwag na natin pakinggan yung mga miron muna. Doon muna natin sa players natin ibaling yung ating attention natin. And we cannot blame people for, saying these matters, these things. And I agree with you na mayroong mga ganong sektor. Pero let's leave that to across the table to be taken up. Kaya sensitive matters din yan, di ba? At saka that springs from the normal attitude na, wala ito, yung negosasyon na yan, pakitang tao lang yan nila. Meron sila mga bottom line, hindi nila pwede bigay. In fairness, let's wait until these are discussed across the table. Okay.
Senator, you shared earlier na nakapag-meet kayo sa Belgian Foreign Minister. Can you share more about that?
Hindi na ito sa peace process. Although a little bit, okay. Well, on the 25th, while we were entering still further negotiations, I flew from Oslo, Norway to Brussels, the capital of the European Union. It's only a 2-hour flight from Oslo, Norway. Because the Belgian government, who hosts the EU headquarters in Brussels, was very interested to know about the peace process. And because of the planned visit of Princess Astrid, kapatid ni King Philip of Belgium, who is scheduled to come here in May 2017 to head a high-level economic team for investments. So they were very interested in informing us about this plan at nag-aantay pa rin tayo for that schedule to be finalized. No? And of course, they were asking about the progress in the peace process that we have. So I briefed the Belgian foreign minister, parang Secretary of Foreign Affairs nila. And he is Deputy Prime Minister also of Belgium. Remember that the European Union has 28 member countries, except ang UK ngayon na nag-exit, di ba? So, they compose a major force in Europe. After meeting with the Belgian officials, I met with the EU representatives. EU na naman yan. You remember the European Union has very strong presence in our peace process in the Bangsamoro peace process. They're the biggest supporters in the Bangsamoro negotiations that we have. Malaking tulong nila in terms of support, funding, grants, and all. So we thought that it is also an occasion for us to express the President's appreciation for their very strong support and still inviting them to stay with us habang ini-implement natin yung peace agreement with the MILF at the Bangsamoro. They ask about, of course, the issue of yung drug campaign natin, yung patayan daw dito sa atin. Maraming namamatay. And so, you know, many of our agreements with the EU, may mga kabalikat yung human rights issues kasi. Like in the so-called GSP, yung free tariff natin privilege with the EU. These are all tied down to human rights issues. So, napakahalaga na ma-clarify din sa kanila. But they know exactly what is happening here dahil may mga tao sila dito. They have all embassies here also.
Why are they interested sa peace process natin, dun sa progress? Meron po ba silang plano to become...
Malaki sila. You know, they're the biggest fund supporters in the Bangsamoro peace process. In the negotiations part, may mga, nandyan sila. They're even present in the international monitoring team, in the international contact group that helped us. The different mechanisms are there. Nagpupundo talaga sila. Eh ngayon, they are very happy of the developments in the Bangsamoro. They were curious about the peace roadmap of President Duterte, so I had to brief them very lengthily about it.
Yung possibility po na involved sila sa third party when it comes dun sa pag-provide natin ng bilateral ceasefire? Meron ba?
Dito sa NPA, CPA. Well, pag-usapan pa yan ng both sides muna. Dahil kukumbidahin sila kung kailangan sila.
Sir,
and I'm sure they'll be volunteering. Okay?
Sir,
yes.
Masyadong technical yung how we describe the situation right now. Sa pakikipagrelasyon, compare natin sa pakikipagrelasyon itong ginagawa natin pakikipag-usap sa CCP, sa NPA, tsaka sa MILF. Nasa anong level na po yung relasyon na ito, itong ginagawa natin na pakikipagrelasyon ulit sa NBF?
Gaya siguro ng magkasintahan, you have to build, pag sinagot ka, hindi naman kaagad na, di ba? You have to build that relationship, trust, and it takes time. Kaya, we're building on that, and hopefully, we'll make that relationship end up in a marriage.
And how confident are we na on a scale of 1 to 10, ano yung pinapakitang trust nitong NBF sa atin, sir?
Well, wag na tayo maglagay ng parang scale, no? But there's a very high level of confidence that we can make things work.
David.
Questions. Sir, if I'm not mistaken, both
Oh, you're mistaken.
US
Oh.
and EU placed the CPP-NPA under its terror watch. Di ba na-tag sila, sir, as a terrorist group, sir? I'm just wondering firstly, sir, nung nag-meet ho kayo with the Belgian and saka EU officials, na pag-usapan ho bang ano yung plan with regards to this?
Yung listing?
Opo.
Well, let me tell everyone muna, the listing in the terrorist list is present in the US. Sa EU, they already removed JOMA season. Only the CPP, NP, NDF are listed. We did not discuss this in my meetings with them. I thought that it would be too premature yet. Diba?
But if they're interested to support the peace process, sir, would they also see that possibility, sir, of delisting?
Ako, I trust naman if we move the peace process forward, I think if it has some big progress, they're our partners, EU at saka ang US. I think they will concede to probably something that will be good for the Philippines naman, di ba? And they will not provide the stumbling blocks, I'm sure, to our effort to have a final peace.
So no formal communications from them?
Wala pa at this stage nga, hindi na namin napag-usapan yan.
Sir, my second question would be sa Jasig list. Kasi if you recall, nung past administration, ito yung isa sa mga pinaka-contentious na issue.
Yes.
Parang pinagdedebatehan nila kung if it exists, kung sino yung mga nasa listahan, how it was formulated. Ngayon, sir,
Na-corrupt kasi yung previous data na wala from the diskette.
Right.
So we have to reconstitute the list. So, at saka karamihan doon, patay na ang iba, may sakit na. So they submitted to us there 2 lists. 54 containing the names of those who are already publicly known. Yun ang pangalan talaga nila. Diba? And 87 containing aliases. These aliases kasi would have to be supported by other data. Kung, for example, merong incident at merong nahuli at sabihin nila, uy, covered dyan sa Jasig. Tapos ginamit alias. Paano natin ma-verify? We have to go to the bank data. That may include pictures. Pictures kasi talaga hindi yun makukorrupt ibang pangalan na siya, maraming mga alias, pero sa picture hindi mag-iiba. Unless magpa-facelift or something, magpa-plastic surgery. So we have 87 of these in that list that were submitted to us. We have a little time left muna. They agreed on a time to be able to complete the data for this 87. Pero yung 54, publicly known na yun, yung mga pangalan, nakalutang na sila din.
Tanggap na to ng government, sir? Or
Tinanggap na namin.
For verification, sir?
No. Yung sa 87, meron pang need for more data to be compiled. At pag-usapan pa ng dalawang grupo, saan din, sino ang maging depositary. Dahil sa previous kasi, nang binuksan yung disket, corrupted. Wala yung kwan. Matagal na rin Tsaka wala pa kasi yung mga USB noon Mga data bank na malaki-laki.
Ganun ba din ang magiging procedure, sir? Pagkakaroon ng safety process?
Yung papag-usapan mo detalye kung sino, one day shall be able to finish the submission of all data. I think they agreed on 3 months yata to finish. Okay na. I'll go already to the MILF ongoing now in Davao.
Sir, was it mentioned if Joma season would end his exile soon and return to the Philippines?
Walang napag-usapan na gano'n pa.
Sir, paano niyo po pala, sir, in-explain po dun sa EU officials po yung tungkol sa drug situation natin and ano po yung naging response nila after explain?
Well, number one, kasi sabi nga nila, they're reading the newspapers. But they have also people here. May mga listening posts yan sila dito So, but we have to make it also clear that sabi ko, we share values on the protection of human rights and due process. President Duterte, as a prosecutor, long-time prosecutor and a lawyer, adheres to these shared values on the protection of human rights and due process. There are incidents about killings here as the drug issue continues in the country. So I also told them that the president had even directed internally for people, for specific groups, to look into these issues of so-called excesses by our police authorities, and then also look into issues of many of these possible killings. Kasi namamangha sila, aside from the fact na may mga namamatay, napakadami daw yung nag-surrender voluntarily. Anong ginawa? Sabi ko, the president had a way of, he has to deliver on his campaign promise of addressing first and foremost the drug issue.
Thank you, sir.
If there are there more questions?
Wala na. Let's go to the MILF. Okay, there is ongoing right now, beginning today in Davao, what we call as a strategic workshop of both MILF and the Philippine government. Both panels are there. A strategic workshop, ang output noon would probably come up with a better understanding on both sides. Ano yung proseso dito sa pagpapasa ng bagong batas to replace the BBL? And we have very prominent speakers there as we speak now. We have Justice Adolf Ascuna, retired Associate Justice of the Supreme Court. He's one of the speakers today. He is the Chancellor of the Philippine Judicial Academy. And he was former member of the 1987 Constitutional Commission. The second speaker is Attorney Christian Monsod, former chairperson, Commission on Elections, and former member also of the 1987 Constitutional Commission. And the third person is former Dean at Ateneo de Manila School of Governance, Attorney Tony Lavinia. So they will be giving inputs for the understanding of both sides, kasi napakahalaga yung replacement ng BBL na hindi natuloy. So both sides, both two panels will understand the process. Dahil here on, we'll concentrate already on constituting the group that will work again for the replacement of the failed BBL, the enabling law that will put in place the mechanisms for the implementation of past agreements with the MILF at saka MNLF and the other sectors. So that's ongoing right now. Re-reviewin din natin pala ano yung mechanisms na kailangan pa ipagpatuloy under the implementation stage. Remember, we are done already with the negotiation stage. And this is the point that I told you earlier about. Tapos na yung final peace agreement, pero malaki pa yung problema. How to implement them. So we are now at that stage with the Bangsamoro. May mga agreements na, 1996 peace agreement with Normiswari, meron tayong CAB of the MILF, 2014. Ngayon, kailangan merong convergence of these groups to come up with one enabling law. So this will be discussed. And then in the negotiation stage, may mga mechanisms kasi like na may mga foreign donors tayo, pasuhin pa nila ngayon, both sides, ano yung wala na, hindi na kailangan. At ano yung dapat pwede pang ipagpatuloy in the implementation stage. You know, we have many mechanisms The CCCH, yung ceasefire mechanism. Meron tayong ad hoc joint action group, yung ADJAG, to interdict criminals. Meron tayong international monitoring team, yung sa ceasefire. Meron tayong joint normalization committee. Ito yung committee na mag-aayos ng disposition of forces later on and end of hostilities. Kaya meron tayong maraming template ngayon dito sa MLF na pwede din nating mapag-aralan for our work with the CPP and PNDF at the latter time. We have also task force for decommissioned combatants and the communities. Kasi napakahalaga na yung mga communities where they have combatants, they must immediately also feel the dividends of peace. Dahil mag-aantay pa sila, kapag-tagal naman, may permahan na, bakit wala pa? Hindi pa nag-improve yung kabuhayan natin, bakit ganito? And then we have the Transitional Justice and Reconciliation Commission. Ito yung sinasabi ni President Duterte, that we must address the historical injustice committed on the Bangsamoro. And merong studies made by Switzerland already that we will be working on. So these parties are there now for 2 days until tomorrow. On the 31st, another table will be meeting there in Davao in another venue. These are the peace and development advocates of the MNLF ng former grupo din ni Chairman Nur Miswari. Ito yung mga dating tumulong na rin in the implementation of the peace agreement. They want also some updates, baka makatulong pa rin sila. On the side of Chairman Nur Miswari, I've returned already and I'll be updated on the efforts on how we could also engage him personally. Kasi ngayon may warrant of arrest pa siya, di ba? He's still in Sulu. Say again?
There are chance already for it to be lifted.
Which lifted?
Yung arrest warrant.
We're still working on that muna, on how to proceed to engage him personally. But there are already parang representatives ng MNLF who are already touching base with us on how to proceed. We have to follow, whether you are for or against, you might be very strongly against, but if you follow judicial processes, then you have to submit to the result of a judicial process. Yun ang sagot ko dyan. There have been a shortcut here, even yung sa releases ng CPP and PNDF, yung prisoners. We had to go through the judicial process. The courts had to, there's so many courts that were involved. Okay? Wala na tayo.
Other questions?
Huwag niyo naman ubusin para may tatanong naman kayo next time. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Secretary. Thank you very much.
Final statement from Mayor Ed.
We have determined Joe is here. We have a determined president, and what he says he does. And wala tayong masasabi sa kanya. At even the other side, they were all agog. They were all on computers when the president made the 44 minutes speech on the releases that were made and the ceasefire indefinite. At sinasabi niya, we had a protracted war and this should end. And I believe so. And everybody, 90% of Filipinos believe in our president now. Thank you very much.
Okay, salamat. Off camera, off camera. Uy, off camera. Dito ba si Joey?